It still amazes me how God works, which is a pretty bold statement if you know my history. Let me introduce myself. I'm Solomon, the king of Israel. My father, King David, a man after God's heart and truly loved by his people. And you know, it's hard to step up into a job when your previous boss is so loved. The funny thing was, I wasn't even meant to step up into the job. I mean, I wasn't the firstborn. I wasn't even the secondborn. But God chose me to succeed my father and lead his people. He also chose me to build his temple, to build a home here on earth for one true God. No pressure. But you see, I grew up honoring God like my father. I knew God was real, and he was all powerful and loving. And I knew that if I had to lead a nation in the way which would honor him, I had to know what he wanted. I needed wisdom. So when God gave me the opportunity, well, I asked for it. Do you know that saying about being careful for what you ask for? God doesn't give gifts in small doses. So when I asked for wisdom, boy, did I receive it. I began to understand things, like really see. I would explore and study, and I read and I learned, and it became a thirst for me that if I just found out about something, I had to learn more. You see, and I used that knowledge so that I could rule justly and bring fairness back to our courts and advance our nation financially so that Israel would be the people that God wanted us to be. And God didn't stop there. Other rulers arrived. Kings and queens traveled great distances to come and see my kingdom. They wanted to hear me speak. They quizzed me and they wanted to learn from me. They brought exotic gifts for his temple, and they left with the respect of my knowledge and the God that gave it to me. Well, and I always knew it wasn't mine, but I always tried to point others in the direction of its source. But I wasn't always successful. Sometimes it's hard to always be thankful when you have everything that you've ever wanted right there on your fingertips. And when there are nations that are worlds away that are admiring your affluence, it's really hard to stay humble. And as far as God-honoring decisions, well, when you start to lose count of how many wives you have, you start to realize that even the wisest king can make the most unwise decisions. But I never lost the desire to learn. Sometimes it's disheartening. Did you know that no matter how much good you do, there will always be situations where evil wins? And no matter how often you tell people that God is real, they will become distracted and turn away from him. But did you also know that God is always faithful? It's true. I've experienced this firsthand. I have uncovered more knowledge in my time, more than anyone before me. And these things that I've discovered, well, they're new and exciting. They're different. But the God that created it all, he never changes. And really, that's all the knowledge you need.